sparring with those, wicked witches. No, I'm just kidding. But that'll be like in the news. It'll be like, anomaly calls the view wicked witches. I just thought it was funny. Next story I want to talk about is Walgreens, CVS, and I guess Kroger too. Let's see, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Kroger. I'm running out of stores that are doing it. They're joining the gun control protest. They're asking shoppers not to openly carry in stores. So in certain states, not in California, but others, you're allowed to open carry. I guess you're allowed to just carry a gun openly if you have a permit or you don't need a permit. I don't know. I'm not from an open carry state. I don't know the laws. I'm not going to claim to. But I'm just going to say something very, very simple, and I don't think I have to talk about this one before moving on to the next story. No shooter, no psychopath that wants to do really bad things is going to listen. I mean, that's really all you have to say about that. It's like Walgreens, CVS, Walmart, according to the El Paso shooter, the video footage that they showed, he just walked in with the gun. They're not okay, they told me not to bring my gun in, so I'm not going to carry it. No shooter, no sick person, they don't walk around and shop open carrying and then just randomly decide to kill people. It's usually premeditated, and I mean, it's just such a non-factor. Like, we're going to tell people in open carry states not to carry their guns into stores. Nobody that's going to commit a crime is going to listen to that. I mean, look at the prohibition of alcohol. No one stopped drinking alcohol. Look at the war on drugs. It's been a massive failure. I mean, there's billions of dollars in drugs. There's more proof that the people that they said were supposed to fight drugs are actually bringing in the drugs. I mean, you could look that up yourself. So the war on drugs was a failure. I mean, legal pharmacy pills kill a lot of people, probably more than guns. I don't know. Maybe if you add in suicide, guns do more, because most, gun deaths, I believe, are suicide. But there's so many things. Alcohol kills more people. Vehicles kill more people. So it's just a really political thing that they're doing. They constantly just try to take, freedom away from people. And I just want to say this. I believe that there's more good people than bad people. So there's so many videos. I shared one on my Twitter the other day. There's so many videos of good people. Someone took a knife to the back of, somebody at one of these stores, supermarkets, and they put a knife to the cashier and were like, give me your money. She starts giving the money. Somebody in line just pulls a gun on that person, and then he puts the knife down. That stuff happens quite often. I know it sounds crazy to some. It shouldn't be like that, but in countries where there aren't guns, it's not like crime goes down. In England, crime has not gone down just because they don't have guns. Knife crime actually went up. Gun crime actually went up. Recently in Sweden, A$AP Rocky's lawyer got shot in the head. He's, they have regulations out there. Crime doesn't just disappear, so I get why people don't like guns. I get why they're scared. But Walgreens, CVS, Kroger, and Walmart telling people they can't open carry, it's a nice virtue signal. Look how much we care. We're not going to let people show their guns in open carry states. That's for you guys to decide, but it's not actually going to stop any sort of terrorism or crime. It's just not. Nobody that wants to do bad things is going to listen to that. And I do think, good people protect from bad people, and bad people take advantage of places where they think they can, do stuff like that. So it's just so goofy and so silly. And I do want to say as well, two things, and then I'm going to move on. One thing is, with the Walmart shooter, the fact that Walmart immediately changed their policy 2 weeks after or 3 weeks after the shooter, it really makes, when I talk about, the fact that it's in CBS and it's on Wikipedia, open knowledge that foreign governments, our governments, groups, individuals have planned false attacks to create a political goal. This is not my opinion. It's not a theory. It's a fact that has happened before. You have to ask yourself, why was he shooting up Walmart? And the whole El Paso shooting, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just not an idiot. Nothing about that really makes sense. So he hates Mexicans or illegals or all Hispanics. I don't really even remember his little manifesto, but it's he's targeting Hispanics, okay? So he goes to Walmart. That's his big scoop. He doesn't go to, somewhere where there'd be mostly, he goes to a Walmart because he hates Hispanics. Does that make any sense to you? Not really. Now Walmart stops doing that. To me, what better place, I'm not saying this happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying If you wanted to disarm the American public, like, many leaders, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, any bad leader in history has tried to disarm the public. It's exactly what you want to do. If you want to take control, you don't want an armed public. What better place to do something than a Walmart, one of the biggest stores in the United States, if not the biggest, and do it there, make them feel bad, and make them change their laws. What better way to do it? I'm not saying that it did happen that way, but that's what, in Christchurch, I always ask myself, they did this, there was this huge mosque shooting, and then they basically disarmed New Zealand in a week. It took a week for them to do it. They're banning this website, banning that website, all off the back of that. If you want to do this sick stuff, I'm not saying I want to, but if you did, or I'm not saying anyone does, but this stuff does happen. It's not my opinion. It's a fact that it has happened in the past and it's been planned in the past. What better place than Christchurch? If you're trying to make Christians look bad, Christchurch. Now when people think of Christchurch, it's a bad name. And just for the record, I want to say these two things. I'm not blaming anybody, but since they're constantly blaming, white people and Christians for anything, I want to say you can Google the mosque that got shot up in New Zealand. I'm not saying this, but the leader of the mosque said he thought it was Mossad. He didn't even think it was a white Christian. He said it's Israel and Mossad. I am not saying that it is. I'm saying they didn't broadcast this because why would they? But it's like Christchurch, demonize Muslims, take guns away, and the leader of the mosque doesn't even think it's a white Christian who did it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that happened. And just to be fair, this whole El Paso shooter that they're blaming on a white supremacy, nowhere in his manifesto did he say he was white, and his father was standing next to a Star of David. I'm not blaming all Jews. I'm not blaming Israel. I'm just saying, you think before they push this big agenda of disarming people in Walmarts and Kroger's and blaming every white person ever, did any journalist, did any right-wing journalist, did any left-wing journalist ask him what race he was, if he was even white European to begin with? Because chances are he actually might have not even been white. And this whole El Paso shooter has been an attack on white supremacy and all white people everywhere, and it's all white people. So he might have not even been white. And the Christchurch shooter, let's just be honest, the whole thing seemed like a setup. I'm not saying it didn't really happen. It obviously happened, but the dude's manifesto, he blamed every right-wing person ever. What better way to target every right? They're like, it's Candace Owens' fault. It's PewDiePie's fault. He wrote their names like blame this person, blame this person. It sounds like exactly what somebody who wanted to stifle the conservative movement would do. Who's the top two people in the conservative movement right now? PewDiePie is the biggest person on YouTube. Candace Owens is the biggest thing since sliced bread on social media. So they're named in it. You have somebody who's going for white supremacy, who's going to target maybe the only two conservatives in the mainstream that stand up for white people. Does that make any sort of sense to you? None of this adds up. And all I'm saying is, I'm allowed to question it when I could read you word for word from CVS, what they tried to do in the 60s and 70s, all sorts of, events that they wanted to stage to push a political agenda. It's not my opinion that this has happened. It's a fact. You could look at Project Veritas in 2016. You had Democratic operatives that were planning to start violence in Trump rallies, to say that it was staged, or to say that it was Trump supporters film it. And he said in the video, he got caught on a camera, he said, we'll do that, and it could be outside the rally. It doesn't have to be in. As long as we catch it with the cameras, we can put out the news, tell people that it happened. This stuff still happens. So if it's this easy to get your agenda, it's like one guy, who didn't once mention his race in a white supremacist. Do you know any white supremacist who doesn't mention their race? It's very strange. Okay, shot up a Walmart. Yes, really happened. Very real event. Don't get it twisted. And now Walgreens doesn't want you to open carry in stores when everybody with a brain knows that any sort of person doing a bad thing, whether it be with a vehicle, with a gun, with a knife, with nothing, nobody's listening to your don't bring it in and open carry. No one listens to that. No criminal listens to you. No criminal follows the law. That's why they're criminals. This stuff is so dumb. And I'm so tired of both sides of the political thing politicizing everything. It's like I'm just being frank. Every single right-winger under the sun condemned white supremacy. Even a lot of these top right-wingers have in their bios, they're like, I fight white supremacy. I fight the white nationalists. That's fine. Fight it all you want. But for this specific event, they don't even know for a fact that this kid's white. He might not be, and nobody asked the question. They just condemn white supremacy, condemn white supremacy. Do you see that happen with any other type of shooting? If any other type of person does it, there's been every race, every religion, every gender under the sun has committed an atrocity in the past couple of years in the United States and abroad. Is there any sort of system to condemn these supremacists and the horrible people from other religions and other? There's not, because it's a big setup to constantly, target certain people for certain beliefs, which I don't believe in under any circumstances. I don't think people should be targeted for their religious or, social beliefs at all, especially when they're not near what they're saying they are. On to the next story. This fits right in with it. This is Drew Brees. I haven't even watched this video yet, but Drew Brees, you might know him as the very popular, or at least was before this, quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, did some